Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha. You can call me Sam. Just don't call me Sammy. I'm skating in like the last second here on this episode. You know what I did? I was driving to the gym this morning, and it's Tuesday, September 10th. I was driving to the gym this morning. I was like, I never recorded a podcast episode. Like there were moments this weekend where I was like, okay, I know what I want to talk about. I have an episode lined out and outlined, and like, I have been chilling like a villain. Like I've been doing stuff. I went to the Bengals game this weekend. We went out with friends on Saturday night. But like I feel like my brain has checked out. Like it's so turned off. Like it's just like in relaxation mode without a care in the world. But I had this moment driving to the gym this morning. I was like, I forgot to do a podcast episode. And I was like so stressed in that moment because I thought it was Wednesday. And look, I have yet, knock on wood, I have yet to miss a Wednesday drop on the podcast since I started this show in May of 2023. Like, I'm not trying to miss my first Wednesday drop in an episode. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I forgot it. And I felt it in my body, that like panic stress. And then I was like, oh, it's Tuesday. I did have a busy day, but I was like, I got time. I can still get this podcast episode done. And it got me thinking about the way we feel and process stress in our lives. And originally, admittedly, I was not going to talk about stress on this week's episode. I have something else I want to talk about, but I'm going to postpone that episode outline that I have because I want to talk about the stress, the way we feel, process stress, the negative health effects that it has on us, and how we can start to de-stress the mess. Okay. Stress has become so normalized in society. Like it's like you ask anybody, they're like, yeah, I've been stressed at some point this week, right? Like it's just such a common thing. Y'all, it's not good. It's not okay. Like we should not feel stressed every single day in our lives. And so we have to be really proactive about making changes in our life so that we're not feeling that heightened level of fight or flight, which way you want to say it, fight or flight. I don't know. You know what I mean though. We should not be feeling that every single day. That's not good for our body like all the time, right? And the truth is like it's like normalized. Like we're just anticipate being stressed. People are making money off of trying to de-stress people. Like it's just, it's a whole thing. So I looked up, I wanted to see the actual dangers of stress, and I'm not a doctor. I'm getting this, AI looked this up for me. They used their sources are quoted from like the Mayo Clinic, Columbia Doctors, Yale Medicine, the Office of Disease Prevention. So that's where, WebMD, that's where all this information is coming from AI. But here are just some physical health issues that can come from chronic stress. Heart disease, man. Stress can increase the plaque buildup in your arteries, which can lead to a heart attack, abnormal heart rhythms, and heart failure. Yo, I have felt that in my chest. Like I already have SVT, and I talk about this in a previous episode. One time my heart rate got stuck at 270 beats per minute. You know how fast that is? Yeah. I had to call an ambulance to get that taken care of. But I understand abnormal heart rhythms and what that feels like, especially when I'm stressed. I can feel it, the flutters, all those things. So there's like an actual physical response there happening in stressful situations. Same thing here with high blood pressure. So stress can raise your blood pressure, making it more likely that you have a heart attack or stroke. It can weaken your immune system. We've seen that where, you've got a big event or you got something going on and all of a sudden you're getting sick, right? It weakens your immune system. So you're more likely to catch things like the common cold or the flu. Type 2 diabetes, stress eating can lead to increased blood sugar levels, which can increase your risk for type 2 diabetes. Have you ever stress eaten? Raise your hand. I will. You know what my go-to is when I'm stressed? I'll notice it. Like I crave peanut butter. I'll get off like maybe a stressful work call or something intense in my life, and I like find myself going to the kitchen and like trying to find something with peanut butter. It's very bizarre, but that's like such a big indicator to me when I'm like, why am I eating peanut butter right now? Why am I going for peanut butter? I'm like, something stressful just happened. A lot of awareness around that now. I'm going to talk about that, but it can also cause things like anxiety, depression, panic attacks, lack of self-confidence, mood swings, sleep problems. We know that. You know that if you've been stressed, you can't sleep at night, right? digestive problems, headaches, muscle tension and pain, weight loss or gain. So all of the above. Stress physically affects the body. Stress physically affects your body. So here's my question for you. The thing you've been stressed about this week, is it worth it? Is your health, potentially your life, I hate to be dramatic, is it worth it? Is it going to matter, this thing that's got you on edge or it's got you stressed out, is it going to matter next year? Is it going to matter in 2 months? Is it going to matter next week? Like the things that we stress about most of the time don't matter long term. And that's the issue. And that's why we have to address our stress. Address our stress. See what I did there? Everything could be fun. Always make it fun, friends. I realized this. So I noticed something here. So when I got back from nationals, the pageant, that week, 2 week, getting into week 2 here following that national pageant, my blood sugars have been running significantly lower than they were the last month and a half leading up to nationals. That was such a big indicator to me how stress is affecting the body. So I already know this as someone who lives with type 1 diabetes. Stress absolutely impacts my blood sugars. It causes my blood sugars to run higher. Leading into nationals, did I know I was busy? Yes. Did I feel stress? Yes, to some degree. Did I realize that it was impacting my body on this silent, subtle level, that it was impacting me every single day? I had no idea until I got out of that situation on the other side here where I'm like, I ain't got no care in the world. That I'm like, whoa, my body was like in that flight or fight, like in that stress mode for much longer than I realized. And I think that that's what happens. We get so used to feeling that edge or feeling stress that it's subtle to us. It's like a silent, it's creeping in. Stress is doing stuff to us and we don't even realize. We're like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I mean, work's, got me a little on edge, but like, I'm good. I'm happy. I think that's my thing when it comes to stress. It's like I associate stress with so much negativity that you can still be positive, having a good time, be happy, and be experiencing stress. And so we have to be able to identify stress and figure out how to calm down so that we don't let it affect us or impact us, especially long term. The way that I like to approach stress in my life is truly, will this matter in a month from now, in 3 months from now? In 5 years, am I going to even remember this moment? And if the answer is no, it doesn't deserve my time. And it certainly doesn't warrant my mental well-being in that moment. So think about things that trigger us. A social media post. Yo, it's election season. Okay, it is. So you can allow your mental health to go down the drain with all the crap you're going to see on social media, or you can protect yourself. Social media posts can trigger anxiety and stress all the time. Is it worth it? Are you going to even remember that specific post 6 months from now? You're going to see thousands of posts between now and then. Probably not. So don't let it trigger you. Don't let it stress you out. What about a tough meeting? Man, I've had so many hard meetings, so many uncomfortable conversations and emails in my life. I can't even remember them, but I guarantee they cause me stress. Not anymore. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But these things that are so temporary, so fleeting, running late. You know that feeling when you're late and you're like, oh, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late for this meeting. I'm going to be late for this, right? And it's tense and you're so stressed and all this stuff. Like, do you even remember that day? Like, you're probably like, yeah. I've felt that. I've been there. I've felt that. No, I'm not saying you could just roll into every meeting or like roll into every appointment or like roll into dinner with your friends late every time. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like things happen. You could set yourself up better next time to not be running late, but you don't have to harp on the fact that you're in this situation. You don't have to let it take more from you than you already have. So there's so many of these little things that cause us this stress. Here's a perfect example, and I'm getting so much better at this. I was very proud of myself because I am planning this event, this car show for Carillon Park. It's coming up this weekend, and there are a lot of things that could potentially stress me out. I had somebody send me an email panicked about signage for the event, which I knew was under control, but the energy in the email was stressful. And I felt it as soon as I read it. I like, you know how you can start to feel that tension, stress, because the tone of the email was stressed, and I caught it and I noticed it and I felt it. And I was like, take it down 3 notches, because it's fine. Like, everything's taken care of. And we were good, but I felt it starting to come on. And I think 5 years prior to now, with Lex's experience in this area or understanding this, it really could have probably thrown me for a loop for the rest of my day, really panicked about this signage and getting in touch with everybody and all this. But it was all handled and it's taken care of. And, did I have to get some extra signage? Yeah, we did it. We got it taken care of, and we're good, right? We're good. And so if you can acknowledge or feel when that stress is coming on, awareness is so important when it comes to controlling our stress and being able to acknowledge and then reframe. How can you reframe? How can you look at this? What I've been really trying to do, getting back into event planning. So I realized that, I used to do event planning, many years ago, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And I just kind of am helping out now, but I realize it's like a tense environment, right? Because we're planning a big event and there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen and things like that. But what I have found in an attempt to reframe and redirect the energy is that I'm like Cool Sally. Okay, cool, calm, collected. It is all under control and we are good. And that doesn't mean that I don't have a run and to-do list. That doesn't mean that there are some things I got to still get done. Like, I'm there, but when I feel the stress from another party who's involved, I have taken on myself to redirect their energy, to assure them, to calm them down. And honestly, doing that has helped my stress related to this work project, this event. And so I really like, and that's me sharing this little tip with you. Can you be the director of the energy in some of these situations where, someone feels tense? Maybe you get to be the one that says, hey, we're good. We're good. And no need to stress. Everything's under control. That's really like what I've been saying this whole event. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. We're fine, because it will be fine. There's just so much that we tend to take on and internalize and carry, which just seems so detrimental in the moment, but really doesn't matter long term. This was a big reflection with my pageant experience. I was in that flight or fight, talked about it. I was in that stress mode for so much of that experience a couple weeks ago. It just wasn't necessary. And when I was out of that situation, looking back, I was like, I didn't need to feel that way physically in my body. So, recognizing and acknowledging when you're feeling this and really having a conversation with yourself, like, do I need to be stressed about this? Acknowledge too, if there are people in your life or situations that are continuously stressing you out, right? So like, if you do find like in your job that there's just so much stressful energy, maybe it doesn't even need to be stressful. That's what I have always found in my jobs, is like, people freak out about things that they don't need to freak out about. Okay. It's not that big of a deal. All right. Unless you're like the CEO, the manager, and like, things are closing down and stuff, and then it really does matter. Like that's the big stress. It's going to impact lives. But like, you sent out a letter maybe to somebody and there was a typo in it or something like that. Like, it doesn't matter long term. I'll never forget, I was very early on in my career. I actually worked for a bank, added to my resume. I was a teller and I did some marketing for this bank. I was fresh out of college. Maybe I was in college, fresh out of college. So I was young, and they had given me the power to do some marketing, and I had printed a marketing flyer on this like flyer that was going to get mailed out to our members, and I printed 150 of them. And it was just on regular paper, and I printed them on our big printer, and it was just black and white, so it wasn't color or anything. Printed them all. I had somebody look at the flyer after it was printed, and there was a misspelling on it, which meant that I had printed 150 flyers, and we couldn't use any of them because there was a misspelling on the word. Oh my God. You want to talk about stress? Full-blown panicked. Like, I was sweating. Did I cry? She cried. She was young. She was young in her career. Okay, don't judge her for crying at work. Okay, I felt terrible. I was so stressed. I walked into the CEO's office and I sat down and I threw tears. I'm like, I printed 150 flyers and it's already printed. There's a spelling error. And so we have to recycle it all and we can't use it. And I was in tears. And my boss, the CEO, he got the biggest smile on his face, just so kind and warm. And he's like, you don't need to be this upset. He's like, can we double check in the future to avoid this again? Yes. He's like, but it's not that big of a deal, in the grand scheme. And that was the first lesson from a boss or superior that was mistakes happen, right? And I'm so appreciative of his understanding in that, and also teaching me to double check before we print the flyers, all the spelling, but also too that things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. And did that put the bank out of business? No, because I still bank there. And that was 15 years ago, right? Everything ended up perfectly fine. And so that's the lesson there. There's all these things that can happen in our day that feel like the end of the world or feel like they're going to be super detrimental. And the truth is, it's just not. So what I want you to do is I want you to take this affirmation here. Okay. Look, I'm going to read it. And I want you to acknowledge it. Maybe you recite it. Maybe you write it down. Maybe you keep it with you today. But life is full of challenges. But you are strong, capable, and in control of how you handle stress. And if it's not going to matter in 2 months, in 6 months, in 5 years, please don't give it more than 5 minutes of your time. And don't give it your mental and physical health because it's not worth it. I hope you have a great day. Don't stress. Smile. Spread that joy. Spread that energy. Spread that love. Relax. Don't forget to get that podcast episode out, Sam. You'll get it done. We get it done. Life goes on. Life is beautiful. Be grateful for that. I hope you have a great day. You deserve it.